This is a follow-up video to some of the guides I've put out recently. I'm going through the equipment of Phasmophobia, I'm going through the basics, and then I'm adding in some tips. Stay tuned, let's get to it. The first pieces of equipment we'll talk about are flashlights, or torches as some call them. There are two types, one regular and a strong one. As you'd expect, the strong flashlight puts out a brighter beam, has more light. There's not much else to say. A tip for using flashlights is they are an inventory item, so they do count as one of your 3 that you can carry, but you can throw them on the ground anywhere and they can remain a light source for you. This can be helpful, particularly in houses where lights go off frequently. Another point to make is that during a hunt, you will want to turn your flashlight off or the ghost may see you and find you and kill you. The next piece of equipment we'll talk about is the thermometer. Thermometer is a very useful piece of equipment in locating the ghost area. I have mine registering in Fahrenheit, but you can also register it in Celsius. What you're looking for is a colder temperature spot than the rest of the house. I found an area where it's about 39 degrees. That is about 20 degrees cooler than the rest of the house. So there is more than likely a ghost in this room. I will add that the temperature has not gone to freezing. In Fahrenheit, that would be 32 degrees. In Celsius, that would be 0. So one of the ghost evidences is to have freezing temperatures. At this point, I do not have freezing temperatures, but it could change as time goes on. The next piece of equipment is the head camera. The head camera can be used as an item that you pick up, but it does not count against the 3 items you can carry. The head camera does just what you would expect. It works on all the players if they carry it, and so it allows you to see what an individual sees. It can be used in place of a video camera, and as I rotate, the computer monitor is going to show what I am looking at. The pro tip is using it to find dots or orbs in the ghost room without having to bring equipment to do that. So you can often ask somebody who can scan through that room for you, and you may locate those without ever having to bring other equipment in. The next piece of equipment we'll talk about is the parabolic microphone. The parabolic microphone is used to pick up ghost sounds emitted as the ghost interacts in the house. As you use the parabolic mic, you will pick up noise via decibels on that parabolic mic. You can see there I had a 5.4 of activity. The parabolic mic can be very useful in large maps in particular to try to narrow down the location of the ghost. And that way I'm not searching forever and eating away at that hunt timer. Its refresh rate is much quicker, and it's a lot more sensitive than it used to be. Next up on the list of equipment is the ghostwriting book. The ghostwriting book can be used to get just that, ghostwriting evident. You simply need to have it in your inventory, select it, and then approach the ground and hit F. The ghost will write in it, you will hear audible pen sounds and be able to see some type of scribble or writing in the book if it is in fact interacted in that way. You cannot simply throw it down, you do have to place it with F. You can also use multiples, perhaps the ghost will write in one closer to it than another. It can be difficult to get the ghost to write in it, so a pro tip there is to often ask the ghost to write in your book, and that can sometimes generate a response. The next 2 items are related to each other, each has a little different use, but they're still used to produce the same effect. The first item I'll talk about is the Glowstick. The Glowstick is an item you pick up and hold in your hand, and if you right click it, it activates. The glow stick can be used to identify glowing objects such as fingerprints or footprints, and it illuminates those for pictures or identification. In this case, you can see here we have a fingerprint on the door. Another tool that is very similar to that is the UV flashlight. The UV flashlight does the same exact thing, except it's controlled as a flashlight. You can point it where you want. It's a little brighter of a light to use. I often use that UV flashlight in lieu of the glow stick. The glow stick is free. One of those comes with you. That is an advantage. A tip for using that UV flashlight is you can use that beam and throw that across a wide area. In particular, we're going to talk about glowing footprints with salt in a little while. That's one way to set that item down so you don't have to continue to hold it and use up an inventory slot. So that is your glow stick and your UV light. The next piece of equipment we'll talk about is a sound sensor. A sound sensor looks like a microphone, and when placed in an area, it picks up sounds emitted by the ghost. That sound monitoring can be seen here on this top right monitor in your truck. As the ghost interacts and makes noise, you will see that bar show a certain percentage of sound, just like that. That means it is picking up ghost sound, ghost activity in that room. If you look on this map, that sound sensor location is marked as well. The sound sensor is this yellow square in the middle here. And then the diameter of the monitoring area is the larger yellow circle around that dot. If this video is helpful, please take 3 seconds and crush that spider in the bottom right of your screen. I appreciate it. Thanks. The next piece of equipment we'll talk about is the motion sensor. The motion sensor, as you would expect, detects motion of the ghost and/or individuals. It is often associated with an objective. It is easy to use. You simply hold it in your hand, come up to a flat surface like a wall, and then hit F to place it. The idea is that when nobody else on your team is in the room and that sensor goes off, you've had the ghost cross your path. The motion sensor can be seen here in the truck on the map. When the ghost or an individual walks through it, it turns green like it did there. In this case, there's no one else in the building, so I know when that turned green, the actual ghost walked through that sensor. So this sensor can be helpful in that it can locate exactly where the ghost was roaming. You can place multiples of these throughout the house, so if you have a hallway ghost or you have a ghost that is moving, it will give you the idea of its path and where it is at the moment. Definitely bring one of those, at least a couple of those. They can be very helpful in a hunt. The next piece of equipment we'll talk about very briefly is the lighter. The lighter can simply be used by picking it up, pressing the right button, that lights it, and then pressing again to turn it off. So the lighter in and of itself does not contribute to any type of direct evidence. It allows you to use key pieces of equipment to identify ghost items, accomplish objectives, so always bring at least a lighter with you. This is a candle. A candle can be used for multiple things. A candle can provide an objective check. It can be used as a light source to help reduce sanity loss and to find your way around a building. You do need a lighter to initiate the lighting of it, but you can also use other items to relight a candle, such as another lit candle. With the candle in hand, you can rotate it in your inventory. You do not have to leave it out. Just know that the candle will eventually burn itself out. The ghost may blow that candle out on you. That is often an objective to accomplish, but the candle will go out on its own as well. Useful tip for the candle is it can be used as a light source and help maintain your sanity level. The next item we'll talk about is the smudge stick. The smudge stick is represented by this wrap of sticks, and the smudge stick can be used for a couple of different things. Typically, there's an objective or two that require a smudge stick. You can cleanse an area. You can use it to escape a hunt. Another item in particular that is relevant to the smudge stick is the lighter. In order to use a smudge stick, you must have a lighter in your inventory. You do not have to have the lighter lit, but as long as you have that lighter in your inventory, you can use that smudge stick actively. To use the smudge stick, select the smudge stick and then press F. You will see that smudge stick emit smoke. It can also be thrown down when lit. The smudge stick can be very useful in ghost hunts. The smudge stick can cause the ghost to turn in a different direction should it come in contact with that smudge stick in close proximity. So if you're running and you have a smudge stick during a ghost hunt and the ghost is getting close to you, you can light that smudge stick. You can also throw it at the ghost as well. When that ghost comes in contact with that smudge, he will turn the other way and typically run away from you. Quick tip, smudge sticks can be used in a ghost room or ghost area, and oftentimes they can elicit a response from a ghost. It can cause a certain ghost to be more active and agitated, but it can also cause a ghost to be netted to its area of location, removing its ability to roam for a time. You can smudge that general vicinity and area, and perhaps that will help you out. The next item we'll talk about is the video camera. The video camera can be used as a handheld item or as a carried item on a stand. To attach the video camera to the stand, you would simply hold the video camera, affix it to the top of the stand. You see that that video camera silhouette or white is there, and press F, and then it affixes that video camera to the stand. You can take it off as well by doing the same thing. We're going to leave one on there. The video camera in hand is easy to use in the sense that you can just carry it around with you and point where you want to go. The video cameras both have a night vision and a regular vision. The video cameras are used to find ghost orbs and dots. You can technically use them as a flashlight as well using the night vision. The difference in the stand is that as you hold that item, if you were to rotate your inventory, that camera will drop. It will not stay in your inventory. The benefit of the stand is it allows you to set it in a way that has a better camera angle potentially. Sometimes it's better to use a stand. It makes it easier to see without having to sit there and hold it. You can still place the handheld cameras down on furniture, but even then sometimes they're difficult to get the right angle. Once placed, the video cameras can be viewed on your computer in the truck. So you'd come to the truck, you'd select the mouse, and then you could use the keyboard to select night or regular vision on each camera. So the next piece of equipment we'll talk about is the DOTS projector. The DOTS projector is a relatively new item added a few patches ago. It is now added as a ghost evidence for particular ghosts. You select a ground spot or a wall spot, and then you hit the F button, and it emits a green dot circle. The dots will allow the ghost to be seen should it pass through them, and if it does pass through them, it will look like a quick silhouette of the ghost running through those dots. The next item we'll talk about is the EMF reader. The EMF reader is used to locate electromagnetic pulses. It has a range of activity from 1 to 5, with the colors being blue to red on the actual reader. The typical activity of a ghost, whether it's interacting with the environment, you will often get a ghost EMF read of 2, possibly 3. But if the ghost is extremely active or hunting, you will get a 4, and then a 5 if the ghost has that particular evidence. As you can see here, I've picked up EMF 2. That means it's got some interaction in this room, whether it touched a door or turned something on. The EMF reader can help you locate the ghost room. It can help you get the objectives. There's typically a use EMF to register ghost, so it is a useful tool. The next item we'll talk about is the spirit box. The spirit box is a piece of equipment used that detects certain evidence for a ghost. The spirit box requires local voice. You're going to turn it on and ask the ghost a couple of question types, and hopefully the ghost will respond. When you have the spirit box on, you're looking for that X to the far right to turn black or light up. That means it's picking up your voice. And then if the ghost actually responds, you will hear it respond to you, as well as see the ghost image to the far right of that spirit box screen light up or turn black. That's when you know you actually have a spirit box evidence. Let's give it a try. Where are you? Where are you? So there you heard the spirit box. How old are you? How old are you? So we got 2 responses from the spirit box. So the next item we're going to use is the salt. The salt is an item that can track ghost movement and cause the ghost to register its footprints. You want to use 1 bottle at a time and place 3 salts around the ghost location. You then use that salt in conjunction with some type of UV, and it will register glowing footprints. Glowing footprints can be used to take pictures, gather money, and they can also show you where the ghost is located. Useful tip with salt is there is a particular ghost, a wraith, that will walk into salt but not produce glowing footprints. So you will see the foot imprint in the salt stack, but if you search with a UV light source around that, glowing footprints will not show up. So that will be a quick way to determine if you have a wraith or not. The next item we'll talk about is the photo camera. It allows you to take photos, shocker, but the photo camera can certainly provide you a source of money. That is really its primary objective. The photo camera gives you 5 shots per camera, and when you check your photos out in your book, you'll see the photos you've taken and the number of stars. Stars represent quality of shot. The bone, a cursed object, footprints, fingerprints, and interactions are things you can photograph and get money for. The next item we're going to talk about are Sanity pills. Sanity pills are these little pill bottles. Sanity pills are used to restore just what they sound like, your sanity. If you remember your team sanity board with your average sanity, when your sanity gets at a certain level, you are at risk for being hunted. Certain ghosts have different hunt thresholds at different sanity levels. Doesn't mean they're guaranteed to hunt, but it begins their timer when they can effectively hunt you. And sanity pills can be used to restore that sanity. If you were to use these sanity pills, you'd pick them up and simply right click, and you'll notice my sanity went from in the 50s to now in the 80s, and they will restore different amounts at different difficulties, so keep that in mind. The last item we'll talk about is the Crucifix. The Crucifix is a hunt deterrent. If you have a Crucifix and you've placed it on the ground near the ghost location. The crucifix will help delay a ghost hunt as the ghost attempts to hunt you. You will see that the crucifix has been eaten. Here's an example. You have 2 uses per crucifix. Once that is done, the crucifix is no longer effective. Pro tip here, if you're trying to get the ghost to hunt you or you're trying to get certain interactions, sometimes the crucifix can deter that. So you're better off not having the crucifix there. If this guide has been helpful to you, I'd appreciate you supporting my channel. As always, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.